Om Shanti. In today's Murli, Baba says, people say God is truth. And I come and tell you the truth, and I create a world of truth. Sachkhand, Satyug. So Baba says, all around you is the untruth or the falsehood. And when I come, I tell you the truth. And then when you imbibe the truth, you go back to the world of truth or Satyug. And I will tell you two incidents. So once there was this woman, and she told me that I have a child and I have a career, and I'm in a place in my life where I have to choose between my child and my career. So sometimes I feel that why should I choose the child? Why shouldn't I choose the career? So, Didi, what do you think? Should I choose the child or the career? So I said, you tell me what comes naturally to you. So she said, nothing is coming naturally to me. I'm really confused. And that's why I want some good reason why I should choose the child and not the career. So I told her, see, I don't know whether I can really tell you what to choose, but I will tell you a simple law that Baba tells us. And the law is, you have to sustain what you create. So Baba has given us this law that those who create something have to sustain it. And Baba says, even when you create Satyug, you go and sustain it. That's why Brahma becomes Vishnu. So, according to Gyan, the creator has to be the sustainer. So, if that makes sense to you, then you have your answer and everybody is free to choose, but this is the spiritual law. So then she said, okay, but why don't I feel naturally about it? Like if this is a spiritual law, then why do I have these thoughts that maybe I can choose my career over the child also? So I said, because we are all depleted right now, and depleted souls have degraded intellects, and our intellects are not able to figure out the truth from the false, the right from the wrong very easily. And that's why God comes from the soul world to give us proper knowledge so that we can, again, the knowledge of right, wrong, true, untrue, the knowledge of spiritual laws, so that we can learn those laws again and again, again train our intellects into imbibing those. So, so in this case, let's take the example of this law that you have to sustain what you create. Now, when you have feelings otherwise, then you have to use your buddhi, which knows this law, and then tell yourself what is the right thing to do. And then sometimes, and after some time, it will become your sanskar. And then naturally you will be able to know that even without emerging the gyan, you will have feelings that I have to sustain what I create. Okay, and then Baba also says that you have to sustain what you create, but you also have to learn the art of sustaining. Yes, so you know that in bhakti, sustenance is shown in the form of Vishnu. Yes, Vishnu is the sustainer. And in the four hands of Vishnu, there is the lotus, there is the conch shell, there is the gada, and there is the chakra. So you can only be a good sustainer if you have these four things. If you don't have these four qualities, if you don't have purity, which is symbolized by the lotus flower, if you don't have knowledge, which is symbolized by the discus, by the Swadershan chakra, if you don't speak the truth, which is symbolized by the conch shell, and if you don't have the power to say no to that which is not okay, then you cannot be a good sustainer. So Baba gives us the knowledge of everything. What to sustain, how to sustain, everything Baba tells us to do. So Baba tells us the truth, the laws, the knowledge, the truth about everything. And right now our buddhis are degraded. So this truth has to be learnt, practiced and imbibed until it becomes a sanskar. So you have to think about the truth, you have to apply the truth in your life, live by the truth until you become true. You become that one who has the sanskars which are in alignment with spiritual truths. And then you go to the true world, to Satyug. So this is something that Baba tells today. Now, I'll give you another similar example, similar to what that woman asked me. So there is this brother and I started giving him the course, and then I told him about you are a soul, and then I started talking about Supreme Soul, God. And then I said, I want you to know everything about God, and I want you to know that what his name is, form is, address is, and this and that. And then he said, wait Didi, I want to ask one question. And I said, what is that? He said, why do I need to know the Supreme Soul? And that was, although I have heard this question many times, but I don't know why, it just struck me that really the intellects have become so degraded that this is a question these days. So people, so some 50 years back, worshipping God was not questioned. So you just knew that you have to worship God, and it was very intuitive. It was not questioned because there was no question about whether we should think about God. Because the intellect, so when the soul is, not completely degraded, the soul intuitively knows that there is God and I have a relationship with Him. But when the soul becomes totally degraded, then that whole memory, that whole realization is lost. And then you start thinking about who is God and why should I think about God. So Baba says that you are a soul and I am God, and why you should know me, why you should listen to me is a question that a degraded soul puts up. So who is God? God is the one who is my... So, we sing praises of God in bhakti. You are my father, mother, teacher, guide, everything. So Baba says, I am your everything and you get everything from me. So not what you earn or the marriages you do, not that. Those are your karmic accounts. But whatever is necessary for you, whatever is good for you, you receive from me. You don't receive pain and sorrow or the instruments of pain and sorrow from me. You receive power, strength, love, purity, peace from me. You receive true knowledge from me. And that's why you have to know me. You have to study from me. You have to become my child, obey me. Because only by being an obedient child will you learn how to have Satyugi sanskars. So you see that Baba today talks about how the dictates of Ravan, so we live in Ravan Rajya for 2500 years, and how Ravan Mat degrades our intellect. And then we question all that is going to make us, all the good karma we question. And all that is bad karma we don't question. So, people ask, why should I keep quiet? People don't ask, why should I shout? Yes. Or these days, people find it very natural and normal to connect with people they don't know on Facebook. But they don't find it natural to connect with the person they live under the same roof with. So, and I will tell you one very strange thing. There is this girl, and she's the only child, and there is the father and mother, and all the three don't talk to each other. They live in the same house, and then this girl puts up some video, she creates some content and she puts up a video, and then the father would comment on YouTube or Facebook or wherever she posts the video, and then the mother would say, Papa loves you so much, beta. He made a comment also today on Facebook. So that's that's the expression of love from the father, and this is how things are going. And and the best part is they don't find it strange. They don't find it strange any bit. And I was really surprised to see this equation, and then I pointed out that there is something not normal here. But then they fail to even recognize that it's not normal. So you see that this degraded intellect is so interesting, that you see so many people neglecting their peace of mind and not thinking that stress is normal, natural, and then going about taking stress because they want to earn more money, and then you see them suffering so much, but still you do the same thing, and that's the sign of a degraded intellect. So you choose to do the same thing that makes other people so sorrowful. You see how many people are suffering in sorrow, and still you don't question the way we are living. So all of this is very, very interesting when you see, and I often think about how the degraded intellect thinks and how the divine intellect functions. And in today's Murli also, Baba says that for 2500 years you operate on Ravan Mat and you become so degraded, and then I come and tell you very simple truths. What is the simple truth? You are a soul. It is your dharma to remember Baba. You cannot question, why should I remember God? A child doesn't question, why should I remember my parent, does he? A child remembers the parent all the time. A child doesn't say, why should I do what my parent says? The child intuitively knows that the parent says to him what is best for him. And here we question, why should I do what Baba says? Or I cannot do what Baba says. Have you seen a child say, I cannot do what you say? You ask him to study for 20 hours, they do. They do it. Whether they can't or can is not the question. I remember there was this, when I was little, so there was this person in my neighborhood, my friend, and she had some sprain in the leg. Okay, and then her parents said, no, it's such a small thing. You are just making excuses. You're trying to bunk school. So you should go to school, should go to school. And she walked to school with that sprained leg for 30 days. And then when her leg was in a really bad shape, then the doctor told them it was a hairline fracture and she should have taken rest. And then the parents excused her from school and then she took rest. But for 30 days, she kept doing what her parents said. And it's not like she was in pain or something. Like physical pain was there, but the thought never came that what my parents are saying is wrong. She only said, they are telling me to go, so I am coming, but there is pain. She never said they are bad people, they don't understand the pain. No. She just said, they are telling me to go every day. I am telling them there is pain, but they are telling me to go, so I am coming. There is pain, but that much she said. So the child has so much faith that even if the parent says something that's not possible for the child doesn't think it's not possible because the parent has said it is possible. That's the kind of faith that the child has in a parent. And Baba says, you are my children and you must know that, and Baba is giving us the knowledge, the truth, that Baba is my parent, Baba is my father, mother, and from him I get infinite happiness. So there is a very beautiful saying in Hindi, tum mat pita hum balak tere, tumri kripa se sukh ghanere. So the source of infinite happiness is Baba. God is my father and mother. So Baba says, when I have come and now that you have a practical relationship with me, you don't question what I tell you. You just do as I say. And when you behave like a child, you become a child, and you do as I say, then you will become the master of the world, the master of infinite happiness by just being my child. And then Baba says, I tell you something which is very, very interesting and different when I come. And that interesting thing is, I am your father and also your child. Yes, so Baba says that you don't know how to behave with a father, no problem. So, these days people don't know how to behave with their parents, do they? No. But they know how to behave with children. Yes, so they are very attached to children and very detached from parents. That's how it is. Yes, so children don't know that they have to be obedient and listen to parents or this or that, but they know that they have to do everything for their children. They are very attached to their children. So Baba says, if you want to be my child who inherits everything from me, then you make me your child. And what is the relationship between a parent and a child, the parent thinks that everything they have belongs to the child. So Baba says, when you make me your child, I will make you my child for 21 births. So when you give me your inheritance, I will give you the inheritance for 21 births. And Baba says, giving me whatever you have doesn't mean that you take all your money and submit it to the center or to Madhuban. It doesn't mean that. Baba says, what will I do with your money? You just use your money to build, places where children can learn this knowledge. So, Baba's home, Baba's hospital cum university should be created where so many children can learn how to become a deity from a human. And Baba says, that's how you will, by listening to me, by making me your child, understanding that everything you have belongs to me and using it on this Srimat, then you will become eligible for 21 births of inheritance. And you see that in India, Dan Punya has never been a matter of question. In religion also people say 10%, in some religions 30% of what you earn should go to spiritual causes. Yes. Earlier it was religious causes. Now Baba says, whatever you have, use it before Vinash. So let me tell you one thing. If somebody throws away his money, do you think he is wise? No. Now, there are many people who spend very judiciously. Yes, so they are very careful about spending. They don't waste their money. They don't use it for negative karma, correct? So, Baba's children also, they are very careful with money because we have understood the value of money. So, we don't spend it for wrong things, like nobody buys alcohol from Baba's money, or you don't use it on things that you should not spend it on, or you don't even waste it. You are economical and other things, and this is what Baba teaches us. But another big thing to learn is that this is the time of destruction, and if you don't use it before the destruction comes, if you don't use it purposefully, then it ultimately gets wasted. Yes, so that's also something we have to understand. It's not just about spending it wisely, but also using it all up before Vinash and using it and spending it purposefully. And that's why Baba says, create hospitals cum universities, Baba's centers, where when you create a center, so you see that that even the center from which you take sustenance is running on rent. Yes, and then that there is a need for a permanent place for Baba. So you must think on these lines when Baba asks us to, yes, and you must think about how to use your money well so that a permanent place for Baba's knowledge can be created and so many souls can be benefited, and then you get the punya karma of the happiness and peace that those souls receive. So Baba says, this is my direction, that when you make me your child, then I will give you happiness for 21 births. And today Baba says, your children will not give you happiness. And Baba says, even if you make them inherit everything you have, they are not going to give you happiness. And that's a truth these days. Nobody can deny it. And Baba says that children these days use your money for sinful karma, don't they? All children are using parents' money for wrong karma, bad karma. And then Baba says, you must be very careful about this Ravan Mat, which tells you that your child is your lawful heir, even when he's wasting it or he's using it for no wrong purposes. And you must think about who you really belong to and how to use your money in a worthwhile way so that people and souls can receive 21 births of peace and happiness through the knowledge that you impart by using that money. So this is something that Baba tells today. And then Baba today talks about being a swan. So Baba talks about a holy swan many times, holy Hans. And Baba usually says as the quality of a holy Hans, that a holy Hans can swim, distinguish between stone and jewels. This is what Baba usually says. But today Baba points out another quality of the holy swan, and that quality is very beautiful. Baba says that the holy swan can swim and fly both. Yes, so Hans in the world can swim and fly. So Baba says, you are a holy Hans. So what you should also do is, you either swim or fly. What is swimming in this case? Baba says, you keep churning the jewels of knowledge. That is swimming. And then you keep flying in a high state, high spiritual stage. That's flying. So Baba says, when you are not in a good stage, you churn. And when you have churned enough, you fly. So you keep doing this all day. You either churn or you fly. And then Baba today says that if you keep doing this, then holy swans who churn the knowledge and stay in a high stage can never become disheartened or hopeless. So we all know that these days there are and there will be more and more situations which will provoke us to give up hope and become disheartened. Correct? So Baba says that if you don't want to become disheartened, if you don't want to lose your zeal and enthusiasm and hope, then you become a holy swan, churn the knowledge all day, or fly in a high stage whenever you feel that, zeal and enthusiasm. And Baba says, don't get caught up in the why and how of things. Okay, so because there will be many things around you and there is no need for the question of why and how, because you cannot solve those things. So you just keep doing this, fly and swim. Swim in the ocean of knowledge and fly in a high stage. And then Baba today says that those who sparkle on the father's forehead as a jewel are the mastak mani. So we know that we have to sparkle in our forehead. Yes, that much we have learned. But how do you sparkle on the father's forehead? So you sparkle on the father's forehead by being combined with Baba. So whenever you are in remembrance of Baba, you are sparkling on the father's forehead, then you also have this sense that you are sparkling in your forehead. And then there's this question somebody has asked about the example I gave. Her confusion is not yet resolved since career is also a kind of creation through the efforts one puts. So the law you have to sustain what you create is rather more confusing than problem solving. So you see that when you create something with the 5 elements of nature, and when you bring a soul into existence, their soul into, a body, both those creations are creations, but then you obviously understand that a life is more important than something that is lifeless. When there is a question about choosing between the two. So yes, this is a creation, but the career is a creation. So any job, any work that you do is your creation. But then you cannot compare it to a living child. Yes, and you see that if you don't take care of your career, it will collapse, but it will not become a burden. But if you don't take care of the child, he's born and he'll tomorrow become a burden. Yes, so that's another thing that we need to understand. And also, when there is a line of priority which I want you to understand here. So this is also another law that Baba has taught us. So people usually think that when we consider 4 things, so physical health, mental health, relationships and work, then what is more important? These days people think work is first. Yes. Then there is relationships, then there is physical health, and then there is mental health. Am I right? This is the order of priority that people think. But Baba tells us no. First is not even mental health, spiritual health. So Baba says even your mental health is connected to your spiritual health. So first thing is spiritual health, because Baba has given us the knowledge you are a soul and you are doing everything through the body. So your body and your work or the relationships you sustain, everything depends on the quality of you. So first thing is spiritual health. Then second thing Baba says is what? It is physical health. Second priority is physical health. That is why Baba says, don't just sit idle, work. Yes, so do something with the body. Tan sapal karo. Then Baba says the third thing is relationships. Because when souls around you are not content, then they will always become an obstacle in the work you do. And whenever you are doing some work, you need cooperation. And if you don't take care of the cooperative souls, then they will become or create a problem. And that's why when you are living with people, make sure that they are also contented with you. Yes. Now, how do you make other people contented? Do you know how to make people contented? So first thing is you remain contented by having all relationships with Baba. And second thing is respecting everyone for who they are. You cannot make other people contented by pleasing them. You cannot please everybody. Please understand this. You cannot please everybody. But when you respect who they are and respect their opinions and respect whatever they are doing, and you do your thing, you don't do what they say, but you respect their opinion and their life and whatever they think, then that energy of respect draws contentment. So it's not necessary that you please anybody, it's not necessary that you do what they say, but what is very, very necessary is you have genuine regard for who they are. And all this thing can be ensured through knowledge, because knowledge tells you that everybody is a unique soul, God's child. And when you have this in your heart, then you can have genuine regard for everybody, for whoever they are and whatever they are. And I tell you that I have seen people come with they have described their sorrow and they have told me their problems, which I don't understand. So, I don't understand why somebody can be unhappy because he couldn't buy a chartered plane. I don't understand that. Okay, I don't understand the sorrow that comes from this kind of an unfulfilled desire. But when somebody tells me these things, I have respect for whatever they are saying. Because if somebody tells, I am sorrowful, I accept, okay, you are sorrowful and you are entitled to your sorrow, and I don't have any complaints about that. And so in that case, we are able to have a conversation because I listen to everybody respectfully. And in that case, everybody leaves contented also, because even if I don't understand some things, it doesn't mean they don't mean anything. They mean something for that person, and that's good enough, and I have to respect that. And I don't have to follow what they say, or I don't have to create the same sanskars as them, but we can have good relationships if there is respect. And that comes from this deep realization that everybody is a soul and everybody has unique sanskars. So Baba says this good relationship is the third most important pillar. And then there is work, because when you have good relationships, good health and good spiritual stage, then your mind is free and connected with Baba. And at that time, whatever you do if you have read yesterday's Murli, Baba gave us a very beautiful formula. Baba said that if you are working with divine intellect, then you will have pure touching. You will receive the love of Baba, and in that case, even the impossible will become possible. So what I have understood in the world is material success cannot come with logical or technical or an intelligent mind. It comes from intuitive abilities of the soul. And when you are in a good spiritual stage, good health, and your relationships are, you are not messing up with your relationships, then you have a good aura around you, you have blessings around you, and your intellect is connected to Baba. And in that case, you can change dust into gold. That's my experience, and I believe in this. So Baba says that you must prioritize. So when it comes between work and relationships, nobody says you leave something, but you prioritize relationships. Because if you don't do that at that time, you will pay later. And spiritual health is very important even for you to discern what to prioritize. If there is no good spiritual health, you will end up making bad decisions for which you will have to pay later. Okay. So Om Shanti, make Baba your child. Yes. Understand the laws of karma. Do everything according to the law of karma. And Baba says there will be a time when everything which you have stored and saved will go to dust and will be wasted. So use it for Baba's seva before it goes to dust.